So, 5-minute practice went pretty well in my opinion. Had some good pace, I think, and I just feel like the track is alright. Not too slippery, not too grippy though as well, so I have to be a bit careful in the corners, as well as there's a little bit of a damp patches on a few places, so I have to adjust my line a bit to miss those so I can still take a normal dry line into the corner while I'm braking, otherwise I just go wide. My fingers are also freezing and I can barely feel them. For the pit lane corner, I was drifting a little bit at the beginning of the session because when going into it there's a bit of a damp patch on the tyre place where I was apexing to go into the corner. That meant that I was getting really bad grip going through the corner when braking, making me miss the apex. So what I did was I adjusted my line going a bit later into the corner, and I had less water on my tyres, allowing me to get more grip when braking and turning in. I found this out when I was going after a few laps going through that corner, and I realised that because there was water in the apex I couldn't take my normal line there. So heat 1 went alright I think, just a shame that I couldn't get into first. Well, from third to second is still not bad, but if I didn't make a few mistakes on the pit lane corner, I probably could have caught up to P1 by turn 1 on a few occasions, which would then allow me to make an overtake there. It's a shame, but it happens and I can't really do much about it other than just learn for future heats. I'm being much more aggressive at turn 1 though, which already gained me a position in that heat at the beginning, so that's a good thing, but other than that I probably should be able to get way more positions since I'm able to make overtakes at turn 1 and maybe even a pit lane corner now if I'm close enough. Heat 2 went pretty well. Started second, got a good launch, so I beat Finley to the line, or not to the line, but to turn 1 because he was starting first and I managed to get ahead of him before the corner, which allowed me to gain P1. After that I had to defend for the first lap a few corners because someone was right behind me, but afterwards, after that first lap, I just got away and managed to put a gap to everyone behind me, so I think it was a pretty good heat overall. Well, that heat went absolutely awful. I went from first down to fourth and then up to third. I thought that with pole position I would be able to cover off Anthony, and I didn't know that there would be enough space for Emrys to get through, and I also didn't think that he would have that good of a start compared to me and Anthony. This meant that I didn't properly cover off Emrys, who, if he stayed behind at turn 1, I would have been able to defend for the whole race. If I were to do this again, I would likely try to get the same start, but then quickly just cover off Anthony for a little bit and then move over to the right to make sure that Emrys wouldn't be able to get past us both. That way I would be able to keep P1 into turn 1 and then defend for the rest of the race, or hope that Emrys and Anthony would fight each other. In the Combe Championship, the points are allocated as 1 point for 4th place, 2 points for 3rd place, 4 points for 2nd place, and 7 points for 1st place. You'll see why this is important later on in the video. Well, 4th to 2nd isn't that bad, honestly. I was happy with it because I got a really good start compared to the driver in P3, which allowed me to get to the inside really quickly and then overtake Alex Keedwell going into the chicane as I had the inside flat corner too. There was a bit of water, so you had to back out, allowing me to get a free P2. But then because of that altercation, Edgar had already bolted off since we were all fighting and slowing each other down, which meant that I wasn't able to catch him, even though I was a little bit faster than him in that whole heat. I'm happy with it, although it's a shame that I couldn't have fought for first because it would have been really helpful for me. By the end of the heat, I was in 10th position based on points and lap times. If I had won my 3rd heat, which was my pole start, I would have actually been starting pole for the A final, because I got 2 points for 3rd place, and if I'd won that I would have gone 5 more points, which would have made me tie with the other top 3. But since I had a much faster lap time, I would have been starting ahead of them, which would have gained me pole in the A final.
No, but what went wrong?
The kart was cutting out under braking. It was the same kart that cut out after Gabriel was defending, so couldn't really do much.
They kept it in the race.
Yes, they kept it in.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
Quick disclaimer, blaming your kart is never the right way to go. I had a bad kart, which was tested later to show that was bad. However, there was always something I could have done to at least maintain my position if I couldn't catch up to the drivers ahead.
So you basically had no chance?
Yes. Cutting out under braking, and when I got onto power, no straight line speed either, it felt like. because I was driving with minimal inputs. I wasn't sliding or anything major, and I was still being caught up after I already had the second fastest lap of the day, which it was really frustrating, but it is what it is. Had the worst kart, couldn't really do much with it.
So you are upset?
Yes. The car I had in the B final had just cut out in the A final, and it was also the one that cut out in the C final. They tested it after the C final, or the D final, I can't remember, because Gabriel Norris had it. It cut out for him, which they had to red flag the race for. They tested it after that. Apparently it was alright, and then in my final it kept cutting out again, and then I mentioned it to them, they kept it in, and now it's cut out in the A final again. I stayed behind a little bit for the kart testing, and the kart was apparently 7/10 off, which is quite a significant amount, which I'm quite angry at, if I'm honest. I feel like if I had any other car, I would have had a pretty good chance at getting into the A final, since I'd had to overtake two people. A bit annoying, but it happens in karting. It's rental, so yeah.